The adage holds that you should think before you do. And the traditional Yoruba people say, if you don't know where you are going, you must know where you are coming from. The so-called All Progressives Congress has become synonymous with empty promises and deception. 2015 till date, 2025. Unfortunately, most Nigerians, I should say, don't read in between the lines. In 2015, I was a fanatical supporter of Muhammadu Buhari's presidential aspiration until one day I went out and saw his poster, "I will defeat Boko Haram." That was my saddest day in 2015. And because I came to realize, reading that poster, that Muhammadu Buhari was coming to perpetuate the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community and will achieve nothing than harvest of death, worsening mass abject poverty, and retrogression. Yeah, if only because in 2011, December to be precise, 2011, when Jonathan said Nigerians should give him 6 months to eradicate the Boko Haram Muslim community, I consulted Ifa Orunmila, and Ifa Orunmila said nobody will defeat the Boko Haram Muslim community, that only dialogue for peace will resolve the crisis. And since then, even till now, even in this video, I'm saying it, nobody will defeat Boko Haram. That is what the Oracle has said since December 2011. And that has been the case, everything as predicted by the Oracle. That if the Boko Haram Muslim community is at all defeated, the Oracle could see mushrooming armed bandits, terrorist organizations. Because, if only because you are dodging the truth of abuse of Western education to perpetrate haram, which is what Boko Haram means, which is what the Boko Haram Muslim community is protesting. So it's a truism. Boko Haram is a claim that is true and confirmed. Whether in Muhammadu Buhari doubling himself as petroleum minister for 8 years, as Nigeria's president and petroleum minister, and accounting for nothing, either as the president or as the petroleum minister, 8 years. Not to talk of Bola Ahmed Tinubu claiming non-existent fuel subsidy is gone, all other subsidies are gone. These are epitomes of Boko Haram. But now, what did Muhammadu Buhari, who promised to defeat the Boko Haram Muslim community in 6 weeks, did he achieve it? What did he achieve? Worsening killings, worse killings. If only because he added S-men terrorism to the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community and perpetrated it for 8 years. 8 years. Including non-accountability for anything. 8 years. So, why elect somebody who never saw anything bad in what Muhammadu Buhari did for 8 years? Supported everything done by Muhammadu Buhari. That is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Some people thought he did it so that he could get power and reposition Nigeria, but uh, nobody with conscience would support what Muhammadu Buhari did. Added herdsmen terrorism to the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community. Doubled himself as petroleum minister, accounting for nothing. All the money recovered by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, was enough to develop Nigeria, not to talk of oil revenue and other revenues. Yet, Muhammadu Buhari left Nigeria worse than he met it. And he posed Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Nigeria. Because whenever I accuse some Nigerians of being unwise to vote for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the answer has always been, who voted for him? He was imposed on the nation. You saw how he lost in Lagos, in Abuja, and other places. So that is it. But 2027 is coming. What has Bola Ahmed Tinubu achieved to warrant his being reelected? Because everything is worse than he met it. Yes, security is worse than Bola Ahmed Tinubu met it. Armed bandits have expanded their operations to more states, including Kwara State, Ondo State. Yes, we used to hear about armed bandits operating in Kogi State, in Niger State, neighboring states to Kwara State. But people of Kwara State felt securer, even under Buhari, than under Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That is the truth. In Sokoto State, the same thing. Katsina, Zamfara, yes, all those places during the presidency of Muhammadu Buhari, which was expansion of terrorism to those states too, because the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community was limited to Borno State during the presidency of Goodluck Ebele Asikwe Jonathan, who ought to end the war through dialogue but refused, along with the Sultan of Sokoto, along with Aminu Tambuwa, who is now a chieftain of the ADC, African Democratic Congress, and Muhammadu Buhari. You see, the three of them expected to midwife dialogue as requested by Boko Haram, the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammadu Saad Abubakar III, then Aminu Tambuwa, the then Speaker of Nigeria's House of Assembly, and Muhammadu Buhari, who Boko Haram thought was an elderly statesman who should participate in it, and knowing him to be a fanatical Fulani Muslim imperialist. They all declined, and Goodluck Jonathan, who was lucky, but Nigeria was not lucky for him, under him. But, 4 brutal years, followed by 8 brutal years of Muhammadu Buhari, even worse brutal years, because if only for adding S-men terrorism to the war against the Boko Haram. And yet, here is Bola Ahmed Tinubu talking about the legacy of Muhammadu Buhari. Legacy of perpetuating the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, ravaging human lives and economic resources of Nigeria. Legacy of adding S-men terrorism to the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, ravaging agrarian communities throughout Nigeria. The war against the Boko Haram Muslim community is reserved to the core north, northeast, and northwest. But the the herdsmen terrorism is pervasive, was and is pervasive throughout Nigeria. Farming communities no longer feel safe to go and farm. When they are not killed, their crops are devoured by cattle. Herdsmen terrorism. And this is what Tinubu keeps calling the Buhari legacy, even in 2025, pledging to sustain the Buhari legacy. And that is what he has been doing, other than it's even worse. Can you imagine, for God's sake, that Tinubu's first term is worse than both the first and second terms of Muhammadu Buhari? Yes, even new terrorist organization coming to Nigeria are mushrooming armed bandits from within Nigeria under the reign of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So, you think of, and now the only preoccupation he has is how to get reelected, saying he's doing economic reform of the non-existent subsidy gone, all other subsidies gone, and fraudulent palliative schemes, expansion of school feeding program to how many schools, transferring funds to indigent households. Which indigent houses? Asking students to come and be getting loan. How many students will Tinubu give loan in the ocean of indigent students? If only because even workers are not paid living wage. So, but now, Nigerians, think before you do. Another re-election for Tinubu when his first term is worse than the first and second terms of Muhammadu Buhari, and Buhari worse than Goodluck Jonathan. If only for adding S-men to the war against the Boko Haram community. And now Tinubu is sustaining everything. The war, the S-men terrorism, the corruption, even to the higher level of non-existent fuel subsidy gone, all other subsidies gone, leaving nothing to Nigerians to enjoy, yet claiming economic reform. Destabilizing the education of Nigeria and calling it reform in the education sector for adding history. The only thing for which you can actually credit him is returning history to the curriculum. Any other thing is abracadabra. Saying that you add everything. There's no other thing in that reform list that you can say is extraordinary or has not been there, except expanding Muhammadu Buhari's school feeding program. You don't feed workers to feed their families. You are claiming to be feeding schools and not workers. you know, it's really sad. But the issue, on what grounds is Bola Ahmed Tinubu seeking re-election? On what grounds? On the grounds of worsening mass abject poverty and worsening insecurities? Or what? So please go and get your PVC if you don't have. Once you are 18, contribute to Nigeria's development for your future and the future of your family. Go and get your PVC. If you already have PVC and the polling unit is far from your house, the Independent National Electoral Commission has created more polling units. Look for the closest one near you. Go to your local government secretariat. They will renew it for you. In some places, they will ask you to go to a cafe, and with 200 naira or with 100 or 200 naira, they change it for you in a cafe. That is what happened. What happens in some places. The secretariat has a cafe there that will change it for you in 1 or 2 minutes for maximum of 200 naira. So please don't joke with it. That is the concern. And think wisely. Don't think of re-electing Tinubu. Think of voting for Peter Obi from the southeast. Because as I keep saying, justice is important. Political orders cannot be wished away. North, south, and zonal rotation is important. Justice, equity, non-marginalization of other people, all these make for social sanity. Nigeria is not experiencing any social sanity, but deception, empty promises, deceptive promises under the APC 2015 till date for the most part. So let us change this status quo existing since 2015 till 2025 for nothing positive to show. Nothing. You can't point to any area of progress. That is the point. So all subsidies are gone. Still, don't give living wage to workers. Still sinking Nigeria in worse abject poverty than never before. So be active, be politically active. That is what is done in developed countries. They don't leave their leaders to just be doing what they like. Once they don't perform, you look at what happened to Joe Biden in America. He wanted to recontest. They told him, no, we will not support you. And he got the message and stepped back. Say the same thing. Tinubu is even worse than Joe Biden. That's the truth. Creating problems rather than solving the existing problems.